Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it. We're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends know where the conversation is taking place. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And in the case of YouTube and Facebook, make sure you hit the notification button. That way you'll get notified as soon as we go live with these programs, and you can participate in the live chat as the program is going on. Also, please make sure that you visit fpcgear.com. It's fpcgear.com. It is the place to go to get all of your coolest Pro 2A swag. Whether it's t-shirts, coffee mugs, hoodies, stuff for the office, stuff for the home, or, stuff for COVID. Whatever it is, it's all there. So go there, and the best part about it is every dollar that you spend goes right back into the fight for your right to keep and bear arms. So you can support the Second Amendment, and you can look good doing it. That's fpcgear.com. As you can see, we're coming at you from Detroit, Michigan, or maybe you can't see that it's Detroit, Michigan, but we're in Detroit, Michigan, and we're at an event that's being held by LAID, Legally Armed in Detroit. And Rick Ector, the founder of this organization, is trying to make sure that as many ladies get laid as possible. I know that sounds really bad, but legally armed in Detroit, Okay, my co-host here for the program is, he's stroking his beard like, yeah, what does that mean? But yeah, so he's here. Anyway, we're doing training. We're literally training over a 2-day period, training 1,500 women on many of them, most of them, in fact, are first time ever shooting a firearm. They're getting some basic handgun knowledge. They're learning how to handle them safely. They're getting a chance to actually fire them. And by the way, it is a completely free event. All volunteers. The range time is free. The
ammunition
instruction is free. The ammunition is free. It's been phenomenal. It's just been a fantastic event thus far. It's kind of funny, Mike, because you think about it. By the way, for those of you who don't remember, Mike Piwowarski, Arms Room Radio. Almost always when I'm on the road, my dude, my road dog.
It's my home slice. And for Craig, before we get into it,
yeah.
Welcome back to you and Coffee with Craig. You guys went on a vacation for a little bit, and it's wonderful to have you back. And folks, listen, there's been no place for us to go, really, because of COVID. So it's nice to see Coffee with Craig moving back around again.
It is, it's been phenomenal. It's one of those things, trying to deal with AB 5 and the contracting laws in the state of California. Ain't exactly an easy place to do business, but I muddle along.
There you go. Muddle being the key word. Yeah,
I am definitely glad to be back. So what I wanted to talk about in this particular episode was the interesting dichotomy between places where we're seeing the most violence that is taking place.
Right,
For those of you who have had your heads in the sand, there has been a lot of violence in many, many, many urban communities across the country. Is that an appropriate assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's no coincidence that you're seeing the violence in these Democrat-controlled cities, the ones where they've decided to give in to the demands, basically, of our domestic terrorists.
Right. So now we're seeing that increase. Now, what you're also seeing in those particular places is an increase in individuals seeking to either obtain a firearm or obtain a concealed carry permit. Am I wrong in that assessment?
No, absolutely not. The numbers, every time we see another announcement, it's a new record. It's a new top record. It's an incredible amount. It goes up. We just saw one number for, was it 3.9 million background checks in the month of July, I believe it was. That's crazy. Now, listen, if you're questioning those numbers, I can tell you this: we've been in the business many, many, many years. 3.9 million background checks means at least 3.9 million people went in to get it to purchase a firearm. Many people, and I'll give you this: at least 25-30% of people, when they purchase a firearm, they don't purchase just a firearm; they purchase a second firearm. Especially right now, when they're realizing the demand for firearms out there.
Right.
They come in and listen, I've stood there at the stores. We've seen it here where we are today in Detroit. They show the customer the gun, and the customer does what every customer does. Well, I'd like to think about it. And he says, if you put the gun down on the case, the guy behind you is going to buy it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And they buy them. So most people buy, excuse me, not most people, there's a significant number, I would say 20-25%, buy multiple firearms. Now, Mike, what about the denials? Denials is less than 1%. So of that 3.9 million, it's probably close to about 5 million handguns sold over the past 30 days.
Right. So, I mean, now the other interesting thing though about that is that in many of those cities, they're finding that it's becoming harder and harder, or it's taking longer and longer for people to get approved, especially where they have whether you have to get a firearms permit.
Correct. Yeah, when it's a multi-step process. If you're going, places like Illinois or New Jersey or New York, where you have to have the permit to go look and find a gun, and then you have to have your permit to purchase the gun. It's what is it? It's the permit to go to the gun show, the permit to go look at the gun, the permit to touch the gun, the permit to buy the gun, then the permit to take the gun home, then the permit to carry the gun. And it's a business, lucrative business in New York, New Jersey, for people to show you how to get through that process. As opposed to I'm from a state. We're sitting here in a state where it's you walk in, you do your paperwork. If your background check is clear, you get to. This where it depends on your jurisdiction. Either take it home or wait your minimum mandatory. The firearms right now, like you were alluding there to, Craig, even getting the background check complete, you walk in the door. Normally, it's a 5-10 minute process. It's taking 3 and 4 days now because of the backlog, and this is digital backlog. It's still just taking that long for the system to keep caught up.
Well, you know what we've found that. When we sued the state of California, we found, and they admitted, that most background checks take less than 5 minutes. I mean, literally come back within 5 minutes. I mean, that's a huge percentage of them. And that's in the state of California, where they actually do a lot more than just the NICS background check. Right. But what you're also finding is, in many states, you're actually finding that the department that is responsible for whether it's the concealed carry permits or it's a background check and all of that, administering that program or even the firearms programs, that their backlogs are getting huge, not just because more and more people are requesting them, but in some cases because they're moving staff around who's supposed to be dealing with background checks. Yeah,
except now they're working from home, doing Zoom meetings and trying to do their work remotely on a computer because of the COVID quarantines.
Right, and so the point that I was making, and we've had a chance to talk to a number of women who've come through here today, and the interesting thing is what we found is many of them that we've talked to and talked about some of the challenges or some of the infringements that we've identified as infringements. They didn't. First of all, they either, because they didn't avail themselves of the right, they didn't necessarily think of them as infringements. I mean, one lady, we talked to her and we were talking about, like, for example, a 10-day waiting period, or even it taking some cases up to 30 days to get a firearm. Yeah. And at first, she didn't see anything wrong with it, right?
Correct.
And then what did you explain to her?
Like we talked about her with her, was that you have certain needs for firearm. Let's say she walks in, and to her it's okay. I go in and I want to purchase the firearm, and they make her wait 7 days or whatever, and that doesn't seem like a big deal to her because she's never, like you said, never had to act on her Second Amendment right before trying to exercise it. And I said, well, what if the reason that you're wanting this firearm is because you've got an ex out there that's a stalker and has already made threats, and you've got an injunction in place, but you'd like a little more than a piece of paper to keep yourself safe. And it stepped her back for a moment, and she said, never thought about it like that. Never been confronted with it like that before.
Right. And we've seen it. You guys, if you guys, anybody who's been on either YouTube or Facebook, you've seen the videos and the posts by firearms retailers who are frustrated with people who are first-time buyers, who are just like, they're angry at the firearms retailer because they have to jump through all these hoops. Yeah. And they're like, look, I really want to get this, and I want to get this now. Or why can't I buy that gun? It's not on. It's not on the list. Why is that gun not on the list of guns that I can buy? Or why do I have to wait so long? Or why do I have to take this exam? And in some cases, like in California, they were seeing that the system kept crashing in order to take the firearm safety exam. And the firearm safety exam in California is to be quite honest, a joke. But in the end, if the system isn't working correctly and you can't take it, well, then you can't buy your firearm.
It's a right denied.
Right.
Yep. I've been at gun shows. Florida's got gun shows going again now. Some places, depending on their COVID restrictions. Well, people, I've sitting there, I've been at the gun store and watched them walk in and ask to purchase a firearm and be told they have to wait their 7 days. And then they say, okay, well, I'll just go to the gun show this weekend so I can get one there in the loophole. And then they go to the gun show, and I've been at the gun show. Haven't seen the same person, but I've seen people go over and ask the firearm, and they don't want to do the background check or the wait period because they were told at the gun show that's where the loophole was. So they went to the gun show to buy a gun through a loophole and got told, no, in fact, it's worse because here's your new rules, here's your restrictions that you've been put in place.
Yeah.
And they stand there confounded because, again, never tried to exercise that right before, so it was never a problem when it was being restricted to all the rest of us. Now that they want to exercise that right, you could see the eye openings, and they get mad at the dealer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And more, you're going to see more and more people who are going to be seeking to exercise their rights as more and more municipalities and more places that have large amounts of crime and violent crime, as long as they are reimagining law enforcement.
What does that mean? Yeah. We're going to change the uniform color?
It means imagine that a cop is
Flying
actually going to
cars.
show up when you call them.
Yeah.
Because that's about all you got.
Right.
That's what it means.
Right.
But as they are reimagining law enforcement, or by the way, they're sending a social
workers,
to you.
Yeah.
But people want to feel safe, and when people people want someone with a gun to show up when they want to feel safe. And if they know that either a cop with a gun ain't gonna show up, then they want to make sure that they have one.
Right. Yeah.
What they don't understand is literally, with the exception of the bans, one of the best things for selling guns is them just proposing the stuff that they propose.
Yeah. It like I said, we got a perfect storm of situation for people trying to buy firearms right now. With anytime you get an election coming up on that cycle, you've got the COVID going on, you've got the violence going on, around the country from police issues. Or perceived police issues. So it's the perfect storm of, if you could find a gun and you've been looking to buy it, just take it, get it, because they're not out there. The big gun store we're sitting in today, we talked to one of the assistant managers here, said at one point they were down to 4 guns in the store, and those were like old cowboy revolvers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've seen it right and left, and I've seen people like in some places they actually, they only allow so many people in the store at a time.
Yep.
So I've seen people wait in line at gun stores for hours and get in there and there's almost nothing there.
Right.
Like, try to buy a shotgun in the United States today.
No.
They're almost non-existent. They're almost impossible to get.
Right.
Some of the more popular handguns, once again, are very very difficult to find.
Yeah, if you could find something that you kind of like and it fits, get it.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to see it again. I mean, I know people that have been waiting for, I specifically want this model, and they've been 4 or 5 months waiting for firearms.
And the more likely you are to be in a place that is kind of the defund the police type community, the greater likelihood of you having to wait or not being able to get access is going to be.
Yeah.
Because they're doing everything possible to try and make sure. And I really do appreciate, in particular, that when the president stepped up and said, firearms retailers are essential, because you had people trying to shut them down.
Oh, absolutely. First day.
Yeah.
Listen, any chance that the D's could take to shut down the gun sales, they attempted to.
Exactly. Do me a favor, man. Let the folks know how they can find you, how they can listen to you, in case they don't know.
Armsroomradio.com. Armsroomradio.com. We are on 25 cities around the country. We might be in your local town. Check on our website, find out. If not, you go to armsroomradio.com. You can hear when we broadcast live on Saturdays. Otherwise, from there, you can find us on it's everything. It's SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes. We're all over the place, so you can listen to everything we've done for the past 6 years.
Excellent. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here in Detroit, or Detroit, as we like to call it.
Yeah, well, you got the keys to the car, so I'm here.
Anyway, folks, we very much appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program. telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.